Hello everyone, welcome back to Video Game Classroom. My name is Patrick, and this is a very special day, for today is the launch of the PlayStation 5, and this is my unboxing video, and here we go. It just arrived about 30 minutes to an hour ago. Oh my god, it's heavy. Also, I'm very weak, so. But here we go, here it is, the next gen. I am extremely excited. I am kind of bummed because Walmart delayed my copy of Demon's Souls, but that's okay. I still have Spider-Man Miles Morales to play, and I'll probably buy a bunch of other stuff digitally today. My wallet is not going to be very happy with me, but oh well, I don't care. So I went ahead and I picked up the physical edition, the disc drive edition for $500. I was one of the very fortunate people to receive a invite from Sony, so I did not have to try that hard to get one. It was just sort of given to me. I'm so special. Yeah, that's right, because I've bought every single PlayStation system and I've put thousands of hours, so they better send me an invite. But anyway, let's get right into it. But before we do, if you got a PS5, even if you got an Xbox Series X, or you're planning on upgrading your PC, you know, what are some next-gen titles you're looking forward to? What are some of the exclusives on each system that you're gearing up for, that you can't wait to play? What are some multi-plats that you're looking forward to? If you guys watch the channel, you know how much I hate Assassin's Creed, but honestly, Valhalla's looking pretty good. I don't know if I'll buy it. We'll see. Console launches tend to do crazy things to you, you know, and you know you get distracted by all the lights and colors, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta buy it. And even normal franchises you wouldn't normally buy or games you would normally play. But anyway, let's get right into it. Got my trusty wine key here, the best tool for opening up packages. Very nice little seals here. I love that it has a handle. This takes me back to the PS3 days of the fat PS3 and my copy, or my 40 gig system that came with Spider-Man 3 on Blu-ray. A truly excellent movie. And it had the handle, and Xbox One also had the handle as well on its original design. It's just great for, you know, transporting around when you need to move the console around if you're moving, or pretending you have friends. Totally botched that joke. Alright, so let's get right into it here. Alright, looks like I might put this on its side. Very gigantic box here. This system is, I've seen, to be very, very big. It's one of the biggest of all time. It's another white box. Okay, I'd imagine the controller is in here, or the component cables. Alright, so we've got the traditional AV charger, or system charger. We have a USB charger for the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. A couple quick start guides. We never read those. What is this? Oh, this is the stand. So we have an HDMI 2.1. This is perfect for your he makes the video great, doesn't he? I shut the door, and I didn't shut the door today. So, this is a console stand. Oh, I was saying about the HDMI 2.1. That's great for if your TV supports it for 4K resolutions. So, this will be for placing the system upright, which you definitely, in my opinion, need to do. Unless you don't have any space at all. I think it looks horribly ugly. One, the stand feels very cheap, I have to say. I think it looks horribly ugly on its side. The system does not look good if it's horizontal. It is meant to be upright. That there. Jesus, Ridley. And here we have the DualSense PlayStation 5 controller. This is very nice and weighty. Like, it feels very solid in my hands. PlayStation has, even though I've always liked PlayStation controllers, they've always felt kind of very small and light. And this one feels very good. Buttons aren't as clicky as I might like. They're a little gummy, almost. D-pad feels kind of the same. The analog controls feel the same. And the new home button, I kind of like how they kind of just taken it away from like the little circle and just replaced it solely with the PlayStation icon. The triggers, I guess you have to see them in game because they don't feel very special. Buttons feel good. Everything seems good. All right, get down. All right, now it's time for the system itself. Actually, we can just open this up from the bottom, I guess. Wow. There are this box is stuffed with boxes and whatever these things are. Alright. I will say the system is very big. It is very, very big. And here it is. This is the PlayStation 5. Upright. It is very heavy, very large, but not like ridiculous. Not like, oh my god, what am I gonna do with this thing? Actually looks okay, you know. I'd say it's taller than my upright Xbox One X. I don't even know how you put this thing on. I don't want to sit here forever trying to do this, but I'm sure it'll take me a long time. But, alright, and there we have it. It took a little more effort than I was expecting for the base. You had to take like a screw and get a screwdriver to really do it up. Uh-oh, Samus is strapped in here. But yeah, there it is. PlayStation 5. I'm going to be downloading Miles Morales tonight. And I'm going to be downloading some other games, checking out some stuff like Astro's Playroom, probably some Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. We'll see what else. Definitely can't wait to play, and I hope you guys, if you're expecting your next gen systems, you got them, or you're going to get them soon, or you're just excited about next gen overall. I can't wait to dive in. Thank you so much for stopping by. So, it's been 2 weeks. What do I think of the PlayStation 5? It's very slick. It's very cool. I have to say, it doesn't really have that next gen feel just yet, but I don't feel that any console moving forward is ever going to capture that feel that, say, like the jump from 2D to 3D had, right? Where it was just this huge revolutionary experience. Clearly, there's a lot more detail. Load times are much faster, so you notice those things right away. But if you're a PC gamer, or you've had experience with PC, I use SSDs and M.2 SSDs. These are not things that I'm totally oblivious to or I've never experienced before, right? I've noticed those quick jump in, jump out load times from world to world, things like that. So, my computer can boot up in like 10 seconds and games can fly like nothing. So it's not something that's hugely shocking to me, but for a console, it's very, very cool. Like I said, it is also very slick. The UI from the PlayStation Store to each game panel to the media tab, everything is just very more focused, more clean. It isn't as convoluted. even though I didn't find the PS4 one to be convoluted, it could kind of get blocky, and you know, there was a lot of stuff going on, like communities and drop downs and all this stuff. Whereas this one feels a little more integrated, a little more streamlined, and I really, really appreciate that. The thing though that is next gen to me, there are a couple things that did really stand out to me with the system. One is the DualSense controller. Now, I just brought out my controller stand. I got this on Etsy. It's pretty cool. And I just kind of wanted to show you like how it kind of compares to the Xbox controller. Now, of course, this is the Xbox One controller. This is the, actually, this is the Cyberpunk 2077 one. And I've always considered Xbox to have better controllers than PlayStation, even though I have like more gangly fingers and I kind of like the smaller thing like PlayStation has offered. I've always just felt that like Xbox has a nice weighty controller that really just is universally liked, and it is just so easy to use and to pick up and to memorize, and it's just really, there's no complaints with an Xbox controller. Whereas like PlayStation has always had issues with you know, triggers or grips or, you know, analog sticks. There's always been a slight hiccup, even though I've always enjoyed them. The DualSense, though, outside of those little thumb sticks that you had on the PlayStation 4, they are a little more reinforced, though, which is good. Remember when the PlayStation 4 launched, they would peel off. This, I have to say, outside of that, I know this is kind of a bold statement, because it's only been 2 weeks, but I knew this within like 45 minutes. This is the greatest controller ever made. It is perfect. It just contorts to your hands perfectly. It has such a nice weight to it. Like, it doesn't feel light. Like the PlayStation 3 controller, the 6-axis was always very like toyish feeling. And the PS4 was a little bit better, but the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is just so incredible. Like I said, it's very comfortable. The back grips are just so nice. The haptic triggers, you can actually feel the resistance in a lot of games. It almost feels like there's two different buttons within one, so it's like one tap, or one push, and then another. And you're just, it's just so nice to see. I never had anything like a SCUF controller, so maybe people that have had that are already used to something like this. Yeah, but the haptic feedback in this is really good. And the audio quality that kind of comes out of the speakers on the controller, which was first, I feel like, pioneered by Wii with Nintendo, and it was awful. And then I know Sony did a little bit with it on the PS4, but this one, it still kind of has a little bit of audio issue, but it really does add a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little sense of escapism or encapsulation within the game. It just has a great atmosphere to it when you have like sound effects and things that are just constantly there. So you're hearing it through your headphones, your TV, your controller at the same time, you know, and it all just feels really great, and it goes well with the vibration, and the vibration is amazing. Like, I've always been a big fan of vibration. There used to be this weird hatred of vibration when, remember, Sony took it out of the 6-axis initially. Initially, it didn't have vibration in the controller. And people were like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Well, it mattered to me. I always liked that. I thought that stuff added a little bit to the game, and I always thought it was really cool. And I felt like people were honestly just saying that because they were trying to defend Sony's decision. But I was like, even though I'm a huge Sony guy, I thought that was really stupid. Why did you take that out? The vibration in this one, though, it's unreal. I was playing Astro's Playroom, and I'm going to get into the games here in a little bit. But Astro's Playroom is basically a tech demo for the DualSense, and it's kind of a celebration of all things PlayStation. It manages to show you all the different functionalities of the controller, from the haptic triggers to motion control, which I really don't like, but it has like feedback through the microphone. You can blow into the controller, very reminiscent of the Nintendo DS with like Phantom Hourglass from Legend of Zelda. And I secretly like stupid gimmicky stuff like that sometimes. And it also has like next gen vibration. Remember when the Switch was announced and they were trying to talk about like different levels of rumble? That was, I feel like, this is what I feel like they were trying to go for, and they couldn't do it with the Joy-Cons. This one, to give you just an idea, there's a rain stage in Astra's Playroom where rain is coming down and you can feel like individual droplets within the controller in your hand. So it feels like your hand is being rained upon while you're playing. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I knew right then and there, like, this is the greatest controller of all time. There'll never be, well, I won't say never, will be. But as of this moment in time, there hasn't been another controller like this one. It is just the best. There is one issue that I do have. I don't really like the PlayStation button here. I was reading about this, where somebody says it's kind of hard to find it because it doesn't have the circle like it did on the PS4. It's just kind of the symbol itself. And because it also has the microphone button here that you can mute, which I haven't tried yet. I haven't really been playing online with anybody. But every time I go to try to hit it to bring up like the sub menu or the home menu, I always end up hitting like the microphone button, or it takes me a second to like scroll up and find this. So I kind of wish they didn't do this, but it does aesthetically fit the controller better than having a circle button like right in the middle of the controller. But yeah, there's another thing I was gonna say. I'm kind of bummed that there isn't like all the X, circles, triangles, and squares like on the back controller. Maybe those were like for press only, but I saw people having those on their DualSense controller, and I didn't get that. I just have like a plain controller in the back. But anyway, I love it. It's slick, it's next gen, it's weighty, it's perfect, and there's not much more I can say other than that. Just the best controller ever made. So there's another next gen feature I want to talk about before I get right into the games, and that is the card system. So when you bring up any game, you can hit the PlayStation button, and it will show you things like videos, like tutorials on the game, or people sharing things, or news about the game. But it will also have in-game like missions or stages that you can like instantly transport to, and I think it's amazing, especially like if you're trying to 100% certain games, like say tedious open world games, like their missions, their side missions, or their collectibles, things like that. The card system can just transport you right to those missions and help you along in that path to getting a platinum trophy or 100%ing a game. I thought that was really next gen. That was really cool. It isn't just like suspend the game, resume it, blah blah blah. Like all that stuff's there, of course, but that was a very cool thing. I'm not somebody that 100%s a lot of games, but if I ever, a game does come along and I want to do that, this will make that process a lot easier. Instead of, say, like using the in-game transportation or driving halfway across a map. This way I can just bring up the mission that I want or focus on the trophy that I want, and I can just hop right in, hop right out, get it here, 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 ding, platinum trophy. I thought that was a really cool system that they integrated, and I will say though, it doesn't work for one game in particular, and that's what will lead us into our game topic here, and that is of course Demon Souls. You can transport to the stage, but you still have to work your way to the boss. Like, I tried it with the Flame Lurker, and it was like, want to play the Flame Lurker? And I thought, is this really going to take me straight to the boss? This is going to be great. And no, you still have to, like, do your drop-down shortcut. You still have to go through Stonefang Tunnel. You still have to do all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. But at least it got you on the right path. I didn't have to transport back to the Nexus and do all this other stuff. I could just go straight to the stage that I wanted to go to. But yeah, I picked up a few games. The games that I got, of course, were Astra's Playroom, which is free, Bug Snacks, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and the only game I got physically, because that's the one I wanted the most, was Demon Souls. So, what do I think of Demon Souls? Well, of course, this is the game that that kickstarted everything for us, right? that kickstarted the whole Souls genre. That really got everything rolling. It was just kind of seen as like, kind of like The Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings, right? It was just the entry point to the bigger franchise, which was, of course, Dark Souls. I was there on day one to collect Demon Souls. And in 2009, October 2009, I think it came out the same day as Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City. And I got those two games at GameStop. And I remember only hearing about Demon Souls constantly on message boards because it was like, oh, this game that is super hard and it's not like anything you've ever played. And sure enough, I got it. I played it. I got, like, for 4 hours, could not get past the Boletarian Palace. It's too hard. I was like, I hate this game. This game is garbage. Like, this is the worst thing ever. So I put it down for like 4 months, but then something got in my head, and I was like, what about that game Demon Souls? I gotta go back, I gotta play it. And I went back, I played it, I got through all the bosses, but I did cheat initially because I sucked. So I would always like turn the PS3 off right before I would die, so it wouldn't save, and I could always just be right back at my shortcut for the boss. Not my proudest moment, but I did end up eventually beating the game, realistically or authentically. And that was when I realized, man, I love Souls games. I can't wait for Dark Souls, and then that just kind of kickstarted the whole obsession with Souls. So, of course, when Sony announced the long-rumored remake that was coming, or remaster, whatever you want to call it, I was super stoked. It was from Bluepoint, who also did a lot of remasters. They did like Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, and damn, they also did something else I can't remember. But they also did the Shadow of the Colossus remake. That was their last big game. So I was pretty confident when it was like, okay, Bluepoint's gonna do Demon Souls. I'm like, they won't mess it up. It'll be fine. The issue is, though, it's too fine. Like, I really wish they had taken a risk. The game, it just feels exactly like it did in 2009. There are, obviously, it's way better looking. And don't get me wrong, some of that coat of paint really adds a lot to the game. It's like, especially like the Tower of Latria, the Prison of Hope, the Valley of Defilement, those areas are incredibly improved due to, graphical fidelity or whatever words you want to use. Like, it's just, its fresh coat of paint really adds more atmosphere and that level of, like, say, suffocation that you find in, say, something like Valley of Defilement, where it just kind of puts me on the verge of, like, a nauseous headache playing it. I actually just got done playing it before I recorded this. So a lot of the graphics, the animations, all that stuff has kind of really been improved. There are a few questionable decisions on, like, say, some enemy redesigns that they did, and some of the character models, in particular, like, the NPCs, when their mouth moves, it's really off and weird, I found. But it does really feel like, oh, it looks next gen, it looks like a really nice 4K game. But that's it. The rest of the game just feels like, it just feels so similar. So similar to the point where, like, I was going to do a review on this and now I don't really want to. I'm just not, like, particularly enthused by it. It's a fine game. It doesn't do anything to really tarnish the legacy of From Software's 2009 game. But much like Shadow of the Colossus back in, 2018? Back when they did that game, it's just too conservative. You know, I wasn't a particular fan of the ending of the Final Fantasy remake that just came out this year, but I did appreciate some of the risks they were willing to take and kind of, like, change up some stuff. I felt like changing up the ending story was kind of dumb, but, like, they went off and they did some extra stuff and they really kind of added more flair to the game. They really wanted to have it kind of stand apart a little bit, whereas I felt that Bluepoint really could have done that. I felt they didn't really do anything with the online. It's still kind of like this confusing tendency system. They didn't add in the Broken Archstone, which, wow, would have been so great. And that would have kind of made it like Bluepoint's, that's their stamp on Souls. And I don't think anybody would have had a problem with that if they had taken the concept work, the work that From Software didn't have time to include in the original '09 game, and then they put it in their game. That would have been amazing. But they didn't do that stuff. They were more focused on like cool finishers and things like that. And yeah, there's like filters and photo modes and all that stuff is nice, but it's not particularly anything we haven't seen before. And it's fine. I'm about halfway through. I'm almost, or a little more than halfway through. Just have a few more archdemons to take down, and then I can move on to the end of the game. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good, but I'll probably only play it like one more time with a different class. Right now I'm doing a priest. I'll probably do like a mage to see how the class balancing works. But, I mean, you know, it's a fine game, but nothing to write home about. Now, let's get into Bug Snacks. I played Bug Snacks, and that's a really kind of weirdo game. So what you do is you just capture bugs. You find like different ways to capture bugs. You have like different tools to do it, and then you give it to these creatures on the island, and they eat the bugs, and then they become the bug. So like, there's a frider, which is essentially a spider with fries for legs, and they eat the spider or the frider, and then they have like a French fry for a leg. Or like strawbees, which are like these strawberry bugs, and they eat that, and then I think like a strawberry grows out of their hand or something like that. So it's kind of a unique, like stupid kind of fun game to play. It does have a sense of humor to it, which I really liked, and I think it is pretty funny for, you know, just a kind of like throwaway or time waster, and something that it does have that kind of like launch title feel, like, oh, it was thrown in there, and it's free if you have PlayStation Plus, so not a big deal. But another game that I don't really have much to say on. I also got Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I beat last night. I think it is really good with its message, its inclusion, its diversity. It has everything from like queer characters to deaf characters to a very like proud pro-black, pro-Hispanic cast, and I think that stuff inclusion like or things that are included like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. I thought like, wow, this is really great to see a studio do this and a studio embrace this. But the game, it's just another open world game. But we all knew that was what was going to happen. You're just going around collecting stuff, and then you kind of get in the mission and the main mission, and it's whatever, it's fine. It feels like an add-on, it is. I felt that the story did kind of mimic, especially the ending, it really mimics the game from 2018 with betrayal and whatnot, but it's fine. It's an open world game, the thing we've seen 8 million times over from the last generation. The new options that you have for a lot of the games, like with Demon's Souls, and you get it with Spider-Man, is they have a lot of like graphical overlays. They have frame rate differences, so you can either choose like 4K, or you can choose like high frame rate, like performance. I always go for the performance. I think those things end up looking better, and I really don't notice that 4K look just yet. I think we'll definitely be getting into that as the generation moves on, and a lot of these games won't probably be featuring 60 frames as we move on because they'll be too graphically intensive. But as of right now, I like that freedom to choose between one or the other, and with Miles Morales, of course, I went with 60 frames, and it was really smooth. The loading was awesome, so I did like those things, but at its core, it's still just another open world game that, is definitely forgettable to me. And then last, I played Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, I already have Devil May Cry 5 on PC, but I wanted to get back into it with the PS5, and it doesn't look any better to me. It doesn't look like there's anything that, like, I don't notice any graphical upgrades. Gameplay still feels the same to me. Very unpopular opinion, I don't really like the gameplay. I think it's far too complex for an idiot like me. It's just way too convoluted, the combos and the mastery. It's like, what am I playing, a fighting game here? I just don't really like that stuff, and the story's really dumb, and it's way too anime-ish, but, I thought I'd give it a shot and see if I could get back into it, and it really isn't something that I really dig. There's a lot of tonal issues that I can't really get into because characters don't take anything seriously, and when they should, and it just kind of like rips me out of the whole game. And yeah, I mean, Devil May Cry 5, as we all know, not Devil May Cry 5, but the franchise, it'll just never be as good as Ninja Theory's DMC Devil May Cry, which is clearly the best one. But yeah, those are my thoughts on PS5. I think it's a great system. I think it will be a great system. It's very slick. It's huge, as you saw on my unboxing video and on my desk right there. It is a massive system. I don't notice any heating issues, but I have heard that people are having a lot of problems with their PlayStation. So I have to wonder, like, should you get it now? Should you wait? I know that they're constantly rolling out updates to improve stability and things like that, but I've never been one who's a big believer in, like, launch systems having issues. Of course, there's the Xbox 360 that had the infamous Red Ring of Death, but I've never been one to be like, oh, don't buy a system because there's bugs. Usually, there's a lot of testing, and these things don't tend to happen as much anymore. But I have been noticing there are, at least on like social media, there are a lot of people who are having problems with their PlayStation 5, from GPUs to like a coiling whine from their system, to shutdowns, to freezes, all that stuff. I know there's the Miles Morales freezing, which I think got patched, but so far I haven't had any issues. The only issues I have had were that Demon Souls got hung up on the title card. It wouldn't load one day, and I had to like restart the system. And then while I was actually recording footage for this video, so I recorded my TV up here, and while I was recording, the TV like shut off. I don't know if the PS5 isn't getting a signal through Elgato or what's happening. And then while I was trying to finish up recording, I'm watching through the through my computer monitor, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, PS5's entering rest mode, like 5 minutes later. And I'm like, what the hell's happening? Did the system think that it was off? What's going on? So I'm kind of worried about that with my recording moving forward, if that's going to affect my recording. I hope not. So far, mostly what I've been using is just my HDMI 2.1 to just play games and kind of experience the PS5 as is, because I don't have a 4K capture card, so I just use a normal HDMI when I'm capturing footage. And I hope that doesn't continue. I hope I don't have any issues moving forward, but so far I've been pretty fortunate, and the system has been holding up. I would say though, unless you're like a huge Demon Souls fan, or like a huge Souls guy, or all your friends are moving to PS5, I would probably hold off right now. I know everybody FOMOs and wants to get in on everything, so everybody's really dying to get a PS5, but I'd wait. Right now, you don't have that next-gen feel truly outside of the DualSense controller, and some of the stuff like the title card and the quick load times. But really, the games are not, something that you're going to be blown away by, right? Like, you can still play Devil May Cry 5 on the PS4. You can play Bugsnax on the PS4. You can play Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS4. I do think only like Astra's Playroom is on PS5. Oh, that was a game I didn't talk about. I'm sorry. That game was really good. That is, Astra's Playroom is just like a Mario Odyssey. A lot of fun, great celebration of PlayStation. Excellent game. I love that one. Really did like that. But yeah, I don't have much to say outside of that. I would say hold off for right now. Wait until you start seeing some of these previous gen games get their upgrades. So things like obviously Cyberpunk, Grand Theft Auto 5, Destiny, things like that, where you're going to start to see games really take advantage of the PlayStation 5. Because right, they might be backwards compatible now, but they're just the game running on the new hardware. They're not taking advantage of the hardware just yet. And even though I don't have an Xbox, I feel like you could probably say the same thing for Xbox. Whereas I know that a lot of the games are taking advantage of, say, the newer technology. There really aren't too many games that you can't get elsewhere or on previous gen systems. So obviously, I know this year's been tough for a lot of people. So definitely, save your $400, your $300 to $500 and just hold off for right now. These systems aren't going anywhere. We have plenty of time for, you know, this gen to unfold. I mean, the last gen was almost, what was it, like 7 years long, 8 years long? This is a long time. So you don't need to FOMO just yet, especially for a lot of multi-plat games. The reason that I got one right away was because Sony offered it to me, and they offered me a pre-order, so I took it. And also, I wanted to get in on Demon's Souls online before it kaputs, because I know it's going to be tough, you know, trying to find people online or, you know, playing with them or whatnot, because this is a game that, you know, is niche and it's exclusive. It's one that really needs to kind of be on other platforms. So I hope there is going to be like a shift to PS5 or to PC with Demon's Souls. But right now, that's why I wanted to get in on it. And by the time I knew I was going to get one, it was still going to be $500. By the time I knew that, like, say God of War comes out, well, the system's probably not going to be less than $500, so I might as well still buy it. But yeah, that wraps it up for me. I don't know what my next video is going to be on. At least in particular, my review. I might do Cyberpunk, but I feel like Cyberpunk's going to take a long time for me to like process and play and write and analyze. So maybe I'll do some smaller bite-sized reviews in between while we're leading up to that Cyberpunk review, because I've been hyping that game for so long, and it deserves a fair shake. It deserves really in-depth look at the world of Cyberpunk genre, things like that. So yeah, for now, I'll just be posting regular content, probably like some top 10s or some love letters, things like that. If you enjoyed that video or enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter at VideoGameClassroom. You can also follow me on my other social medias down below, like Instagram and Twitch. I don't stream as much lately, but I will definitely be streaming Cyberpunk, so I'll be sure to tune in then. But until then, take it easy, and I will see you next time.